I think everybody's out if you want to
I
walk around.
encourage people to ask questions and criticize the Venus Project if you can.
I'll ask one more question and
That's
then
all
I'll
right.
ask
Don't
ones
worry
later.
about it.
What do you think is the best way to, like, let's say if I want to approach my uncle? He's a very smart guy. He's very smart.
Certain areas.
He's a builder. He's a really good builder. He knows everything there is to know about construction. He knows everything. And when I approach him about the problem, he falls asleep. You know, when I try to talk to him about stuff like this. You know, because he feels like money is the generator of everything.
Yeah, that's why he's not smart.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he doesn't use critical thinking, in my
I had a
opinion.
millionaire come over and
Yeah.
he said, Jacque, if you're so smart, how come you're not rich? I said, you're rich, how come you're not smart? They don't know what they're talking about. A businessman knows where to invest and why to invest. He only concerns himself with return.
Yeah,
For
return.
his investment. That's all he concerns himself with. I don't say he's wrong. He's a victim of culture.
He's
know what I
following.
mean?
He's following a system.
Yes. He's not a bad guy. He could be a good guy.
Yeah.
He could be very kind, but he thinks you're lazy. That's why you're not rich. Or you're not smart. He doesn't. A hobo sleeping under a bridge who says, I don't want anything to do with the money system. Now, there's a cult in India called renunciation. They renounce all material wealth. Getting married, having children. The more attachments you have, the more stress you will have.
It's true.
So they believe in renouncing the material world. I don't believe in that. I believe in trying to fix it up, but I don't know. When people say to me, when will you see the Venus Project? I don't know that. I have no projections. I can't project. I have no power. So I say whatever happens is real. What I think should happen is merely a verbal hobby. So whatever happens is real. So I don't get disappointed. H.G. Wells, they say, he died very bitter because he thought the world should be much further along these scientific lines. So what he was disappointed in is not the world, his own projections.
Mm-hmm.
You understand that? I don't have that. I don't say, will your world be foolproof? I don't know that. If a meteor comes on the earth and smashes it, that's the end of the Venus Project. I don't know what the future will be. I don't know what people will do, but I do say this on the world tour, lecture tour. When you leave here, talk to other people about the Venus Project. If you do nothing, nothing will happen. That's all you
Great
can
answer. Thank you
Do
very
I
much.
know that the Venus Project? No, I don't. That's the truth.
Do you know what?
But if I do nothing, I know nothing will happen. So I work, we both work all the time. 30 years, never took a day off. So we must care.
So you think if I were to hold lectures, let's say, in the surrounding towns around me, that would be a good idea?
Well, we have a global activism team. If you want to check our website under global activism.
Yeah, I'd definitely be a part of it. I'd like to be.
Check that, because there are a lot of people doing things. And we have a media team who are trying to get in touch with people that you were talking about in different positions, higher positions. If you think that's a viable way to go, join us and work with the teams that are doing that, because they are doing that. And there are people who are just doing activism in the streets. We have the lecture teams. And, that would be great if you want to join with that.
I came up with the idea of writing on every dollar bill or every, whatever, $21 bill, writing about, you want the end to poverty, war, whatever problems there are, check out venusproject.com.
Right.
But I don't know if that...
That's against the law.
But they're
Against the
not
law,
always capable of checking it out. You
Yeah,
have to help
It's
them.
government property.
yeah, it's true.
Because if you bring up kids thinking there's such a thing as human nature, humans are basically greedy and selfish. If you believe that, then you can't talk to
Yeah,
those people
you can't.
that have been brought up.
Absolutely. Right. Thank you very much.
They are self-eliminating,
Yeah.
Now, I don't talk to everybody about the Venus Project. If I meet a new person alone, I say, who do you admire more than anybody on earth? That's the first question. They say, One Punch Malone. He knocked a guy out in one punch. If that's the best he can do, it's a 20-year project, I get off.
Chuck, everybody's out.
Let's go check it out.
Do you know what I mean by that? 20-year project?
They're not going to kill you. They're not against you. Relax. Very beautiful place.
Roxanne did all
She's from Afghanistan.
Oh, Afghanistan.
Yeah.
We never built what we wanted. We built what we could afford. And we paid for it for 30 years. Nobody supported it.
It's really beautiful here. I love it. Can I get an apartment?
Maybe someday we will, you know?
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I want to see, like a model city of what Jacque envisions for the future.
Yeah.
That would be beautiful. And then people can see it and be like, you know, have people come here, live here for like a week, and then, you know, without work, without worries, and then they'll, you know, they'll be like, they'll tell everybody like, hey,
Yeah.
it's workable, it's possible.
I think people think, oh, it's just there's going to be no work, but people will be very busy and stimulated, continuously growing and updating.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's not gonna kill motivation. Money's not a motivating factor for ingenuity. It's just for
the incentive is free of poverty, war,
Yeah.
corruption,
Exactly.
all those things. And if that doesn't offer incentive, what will? Money? You know
that's
what I'm saying?
yeah.
Could you imagine being able to jump on a maglev train and go to Iraq where
Yeah,
there's
in 2 hours, 3 hours
Yeah,
time.
we can do that without any artificial boundaries, but we have to communicate. There's no form of communication yet.
Absolutely.
You know? We're talking getting rid of those old traditions, those old values that are dictating
Oh, watch
how
yeah.
we, you know, still believing in Santa Claus. What's that?
Yeah, that's why I'm against Christmas, but giving useless gifts to people. It just
Easter Bunny?
doesn't do anything for anybody. Yeah.
It's almost the same as, you know, God, you know? Why
Yeah.
don't we talk about what's real, something
Yeah.
that's invisible? So,
Evidence.
yeah.
There's no evidence.
If you don't follow the Venus Project, it will probably destroy the environment, make it unlivable. This is the question whether you like the Venus Project, but the Venus Project doesn't want to kill anybody or hurt anybody. It wants to bring out the best in human beings in each individual, bring it out, and use whatever facilities we can to do that. It is not a system of making America the greatest country in the world. It's not. It's one of the most corrupt nations in the world. I told you,
Absolutely.
some of you, that there were 300 members of the Ku Klux Klan in America. That would never happen. And they would never have burned witches in Salem, Massachusetts. We have a lousy record. We stole the land from the Indians. If you look at the record of other countries, they're just as bad. But this is probably worse. Now here we plan the future, but if you come over here, you'll see this is what Roxanne used to do. She makes these models. Come on over and look at them. All these models are about this big. You have to look at these pictures. You can walk in. These are models that Roxanne built. None of it's real. And these are drawings. Some of them are drawings. These are whole projects. And then the real estate business collapsed and thrived. And she was cut out, just like that. And now they're printing buildings by machine. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. So she has no work at all.
Is this a building?
And every job will be phased out, including lawyers, doctors, will be taken over by machines. 20 years from now, airplanes will be flown automatically. If we can send a rocket to the moon and bring back samples, surely we can drive in these cars downtown. So these are sketches and models. The purpose of a city in the sea is to restore the reefs. Would poison the oceans, I told you, of dumping nuclear waste in there. The biggest job of the Venus is cleaning up the waste. That this system produces. That's a dirty job, and it has to be done. But if they keep dumping nuclear waste in the sea and toxic materials and nerve gas, there'll come a time when it'll come back to us. Some people call it karma in India. You know, you don't escape the stupid things you do. But it's not karma, it's not a law. If we can turn people around, it'd be so much better. Is the Venus Project perfect? No. There's no such thing as utopia. Even if I design a wonderful city, that city will be a straitjacket to the kids of the future. They'll design their own cities. Do you understand? Or if you make a statue of Fresco and say, this is the guy that started all that, you hold things back. Move on. When you go to work for a company, computer company, they don't want to know how to make the computers they make. They want to know what you can do to make it smaller, lighter, faster, and better. You cannot freeze society. There are no utopias, no final frontiers. It'll keep changing. There is no final frontiers, if you can remember that. No best laptop you can design. And machines will never take over. Here's why they won't take over. Machines have no emotions. If you work your laptop Saturday, Sunday, Monday, it doesn't, hey, give me a break one day off, will you? It doesn't care. Machines don't want to get your job. They don't want to control people. This is horrible.